Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned. Albino ranks every boss in a Wolong Fallen Dynasty from easiest to hardest. This game had its ups and downs for me. I thought it was decent at first, then I hated it for a couple hours, then I came back around to liking it again, and I'm leaving off with a generally positive opinion. We're doing every boss with a health bar at the top of the screen, unless it's a repeat, so starting from easiest and working our way to hardest. Number 26, Juyan. There's more than 26 bosses, but I'm grouping some of them together if they play very similarly. Also, 4 of these fights have my stream stuff on them because I did them on stream. The easiest boss in Wolong Fallen Dynasty is this big-ass ape that just monkeys around throwing out extremely predictable and reactable attacks. One of the markers for deciding if a boss is easy or not is if their unblockables feel natural to deflect. Like, is it an easy-to-follow motion you can parry on instinct alone, or do they do some bullshit like delay their swing forever or start dancing halfway through to distract you? Juyan's unblockables are pretty straightforward. You might get surprised by the kick one the first time, but then you'll never get hit by it again, and his regular ground slams let you get free counter hits in between them. I died on my first attempt learning stuff, and then I came back and almost no-hitted him, so I would say the learning curve here isn't that curvy. Number 25, Yuan Shao. We're gonna be pronouncing every name wrong, don't worry. This dude turtles behind a shield and uses his ice blaster to blast you with ice, or he would if he could ever hit you. As long as you stay permanently attached to his gooch, his attacks all just go right over your head. You might deflect a 2-hit whip combo every now and then, but otherwise when he tries to retreat, just chase him down and stay by his nutsack like a loyal wart. Number 24, Baishi. Looks like Medusa got a rack job. Those things are perky. Baisha mostly consists of poison pools that don't cover much of an area, and snake swings that come out pretty slow until she starts doing her multi-hit combos, but you can get through those by blocking the first and third hits and deflecting the second and fourth, or just deflect them all if you're already good enough by that point. She's pretty frail, and every time you crit her, she loses morale, which makes her even frailer, and let me tell you, it cannot be overstated how helpful it is to lower boss morale by destroying their poise as fast as possible every time. Deflect every unblockable that comes your way, and make sure you do your counterattack because it gives you a ton of spirit that you can then unload in their face and deal major poise damage. Get hit by them a few times if that's what it takes to learn their timings. Dodging unblockables is a waste of opportunity. Number 23, Touty. This is just the Rock Titan from Kingdom Hearts. He barely attacks, shave off his toenails until he falls over, get your guaranteed crit, repeat till phase 1 GTFOs, and he turns into some mutant goat monster instead. Then it's still just about hanging on the sides, landing blows, filling that spirit meter, and using a spirit attack when it's full. He's constantly exhausted from being that fat and disgusting, so it's really easy to make him fall over. Number 22, Feng Shui. This battle went exactly how I expected it to. Big boss, slow attacks, telegraphed head jerks, probably gonna charge me sometimes, bada bing, bada boom, a phrase that means nothing. I got a little tripped up by the slight delay on his body slam unblockable. You'll be tempted to deflect early, but you gotta wait for the front half of his body to reach you, which takes just a tad longer. I do appreciate how you can deflect literally everything in this game. Do you ever kill one of the flaming hedgehogs and then deflect its dying explosion? That's fun. They say cool guys don't look at explosions, but the real badasses get hit by them and take no damage. Number 21, Swan Yu. So fun fact about my playthrough, I didn't know this game had side missions until I was on part 5. I didn't even know it had parts until part 5. I saw the travel slot in the flag menu, but I assumed it just took you between flags you'd unlocked in the area. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I'm massively overleveled here, but I still tried to put the dragon bird in a fair spot. You can usually get him stuck in a loop of deflecting his lightning beams, counter hitting, and then he'll just keep doing it until he dies. It's a regular enemy you'll kill 20 of by the time you finish the game, so not a real issue. Number 20, Hua Xiong. I imagine his friends affectionately refer to him as Dartboard, because if you jump down to this ballista, you can shoot 3 giant flaming bolts at him while he commends your fighting style, and take him down to 25% health before you even step into the arena. He's still harder than some other bosses despite this, because his unblockables have stupid timings that piss me off, so even that quarter health can be tough to take down. Number 19, Zhang Jiao. I won't lie to you, I absolutely blundered my way through this fight. This footage of my first encounter does not make me look good, but he still dies at the end of it, so you can imagine how ass he must be to allow that. This is also the only boss where you'll catch me using dual halberds because I don't like the action on them. It feels like you get locked into your elaborate combos, and then if the enemy starts up an unblockable out of nowhere, you're screwed. I tried maybe 4 or 5 types of weapons, liked the giant clubs for a while until I didn't, then switched to the spetum, that long spear, which I stuck with for a good chunk of time, and then I was late in discovering that the dual blades just demolish people and are super flexible for dodging, so I used them and Lubu's giant spear for the last third of the game with no complaints. Number 18, Zhang Bao. Are we sure this man's name isn't Ding-a-ling? Because he sure likes to ring that damn bell. Having reinforcements is a blessing and a curse. On one hand, you're like, hell yeah, 2 other meat shields to distract the boss with. But on the other, it makes the boss less predictable when you don't know if he might suddenly turn around and hit you when you didn't expect him to. Plus, the NPCs in this game like to get themselves killed a lot, either by not blocking ever, or by finding the smallest hole to fall in for no reason, and you might endanger yourself trying to revive them mid-fight. You can dismiss them if you want a more solo-centric experience, and not every mission assigns you one, but I just decided to leave things as they were. If the mission wanted partners, I let them, but I never summoned my own. Bao does plenty of AoE, so the existence of helpers isn't super useful here, and he's got some long combos for being such an early fight, but it's not terrible. Number 17, most 1v1 duels. I'm packaging Liu Bei, Cao Cao, Hong Jing, and Zhao Yun as one entity, because almost all the friendly sparring 1v1s function the same. Person attacks, you deflect, they do unblockable, you deflect, you hit them with max spirit attacks, you stagger them, you lower their morale, everything becomes easier, repeat. I beat all of these on the first or second try. Messing up can be costly, but all of these fights felt very instinctive and natural. Easy to guess unblockable timings, and just fun breezy fights all around. Hong Jing is my favorite. Her spells make things more interesting, but still the same difficulty. Number 16, Xiahou Dun. You got a little something in your eye there. This fight left virtually no impression on me because I just kind of did it first try, like, alright, I guess I don't have to actually learn anything. I don't know what to say about the boss, but I'll give you a general tip about guarding. Do it. I barely touched the button through like the first half of the game. I bet everything on deflects non-stop, and you can do that and win, but if you're expecting an attack, you should be holding guard until the moment comes when you can deflect. That way, if you're late, you still blocked the hit and only built up a little negative spirit, and if you're early, you can get fucked anyway. You don't even have to let go of guard to transition into a deflect. I immediately started playing so much better when I incorporated that because I stopped taking so many unnecessary hits. Number 15 is Shui Gui. Maybe this is weird, but of all the demon mobs, I'm the least familiar with this one's moveset. I can wreck those fire-spitting golems, I can flex on a tiger or those big apes, but I just don't know these timings, and now I never will. Sad. Lucky for me, I was over-leveled here because this arena looks terrible to fight in, with the pools that constantly drain your spirit and put you one hit away from staggering. Definitely draw Ariel out of the sea for this one. Number 14, Lei. I'm actually appropriately leveled here. These upgraded dual swords just kick ass. By now I was mostly speccing into fire and water for the bonus spirit gain when attacking and the bonus spirit gain from deflecting, which equals I get a lot of spirit very quickly and then you get your poise demolished hella. Water is also great for stealth. Eventually you get to the point where you can fight a guy 3 feet from another guy staring at you and the other guy's just daydreaming the whole time. Lei Shi is like if Thor was a pig. Well, more of one, I guess. He tries to do some deadly stuff with love and thunder, but it's not too hard to nail the deflects, and then he becomes a regular enemy later and you can kill 8 more of them until they go extinct. Number 13, Zhang Rang. No fair, this dude gets 9 NPC helpers and each of them give him a buff. While your one NPC is hopefully distracting the real Zhang, you definitely gotta go around and start cracking these fake skulls. It gets progressively easier. The more you kill, the less it takes to stagger the rest until you're eventually just doing a hit and crit on the last 4 or 5 dudes. The real Zhang has a dark aura about him, so don't attack him by accident when you've got a whole clone harem launching spells and doing unblockables from off screen. When they're all dead, focus on the remaining target, but he'll resummon them after he gets to about half health. Number 12, Zhang Lang. There sure are a lot of Zhangs, and I don't just mean the 10 from the last boss. As the first boss of the game, Zhang has a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He has to help you familiarize yourself with the mechanics by behaving in a way that rewards adaptation and punishes thoughtlessness, while not being too unforgiving and pushing new players away. He's definitely a hard first boss. He's got fast attacks that look slow and slow attacks that look fast, which is the worst combination when I'm out here trying to learn how to deflect. I got the first phase done after 5 or 6 attempts, bold move putting multiple phases on the first damn boss by the way, and then the second one laid me out another 5 or 6 times, usually pretty immediately. Like the screen transitioned and as soon as I had control of my character I'd run up to him and die. It didn't help that it took me an extra attempt to notice the text in the top left of the screen telling you to use your divine beast after you do enough damage to the second phase. I'm just starting this game. I'm already trying to train my eyeballs to watch my health bar and the 2 halves of my spirit bar, all while gazing intently at a man's telegraphs. Like, my brain is busy, okay? How about you give me some meme font to catch my eye? I only understand instructions if they're on a picture of SpongeBob. Number 11, Yuji and the Embodiment of the Demonic Chi. Sounds like the next Harry Potter book. Yuji is the big bad man behind it all, and here we get another multi-phase boss fight to not quite wrap things up. His first phase isn't so bad. His lunge attacks are easy to read, although the delay in his unblockables is significant to the point where I'm just sitting there like, are you gonna go? And then he does it right there while I'm annoyed and catches me off guard. If you make it past the first phase, you'll almost certainly beat his second phase though, where he turns into the love child of Lady Demetresque and Ansem, poking his bare chest out of the new monstrosity it's attached to. I breathed a sigh of relief when I saw this transformation, because as gamers know, big boss equals easy boss 99% of the time, and he's a big fan of just standing there a lot and doing slow one-off attacks, so there was no trouble. Number 10, Zhang Lao. I think Zhang is Chinese for Xehanort. Everyone is Zhang. Zhang is everyone. Check your eye color in the mirror. Have you been Zhanged? When I first encountered Zhang Lao, I said to myself, oh, this is the hardest boss in the game, and it's not close, because he got his lightning on and just went buck wild. Unstaggerable, multi-hit high damage combos, big lightning AoEs. I was dead in 5 seconds flat. Then I came back and won the next try, because it turns out if you last long enough and just focus on deflecting the unblockables to poise him out, he fades in and out of this status, turning back into a normal dude who can be staggered, and then you can fight him regularly. He'll go in and out a couple times, and then he's done, and you'll be left wanting more, which you do actually get later because you fight him again. Number 9, Lu Bu 2, the sequel. The second time you fight Lu Bu definitely feels easier. He's on his horse the whole time because now he is the horse, and his moves are just more manageable. Easy stomps, deflectable shockwaves, and fireballs. As long as you don't mess up the unblockables, there isn't much to worry about. It definitely gets flashier when he loses half his health, and you do have to sweat more, if only because of the temperature change, but giant fiery AoEs get deflected like anything else, and then just try not to stand on burning hot magma. Number 8, Aoye. Ask me why I died to this thing 15 times. I don't have an answer for you. If I was only judging difficulty by death count, Aoye would be my hardest boss in the game, but it's one of those things where I'm throwing myself at the guy like, why am I dying to this every time? I'm doing okay until all of a sudden I'm dead. I think chronologically, Aoye is the first boss that necessitates the use of blocking. Some of his multi-appendage stabs are like rapid fire, and I don't believe you can just mash the deflect button to get through unscathed. He's got 2 main arms he uses for slams and swings, but each of them have similar telegraphs but with different timings, so I dodge early all the time and get caught. Forget about keeping Hong Jing alive. As soon as Aoye starts spitting ice globs, she strolls right into them like she's vacationing in Nepal, and Aoye also has the first double hit unblockable, where if you deflect the first one, you still have to deflect the second, so don't counterattack early unless you're sure it'll break poise. Maybe this just proves the club sucks. It's kind of fun to spam jump attacks though, it builds spirit quickly too. Number 7, Liu Bei. I first tried this Kid Icarus abomination, but it felt like if I had died this time, it would have been much harder in subsequent attempts because of the morale I'd have lost. The game rewards you for getting through the whole mission without dying because you're grinding power levels in the background the whole time, so you simultaneously have the best and worst chance to beat the boss because you're as strong as you'll ever be without farming gratuitously, but you also know as little about the boss as you ever will. Liu Bei's physical attacks are nothing special, but those thunder shockwaves will just whittle you down, and especially towards the end there's a point where they fill the whole floor, and I know I'd have died if my power level was lower, but I didn't, so get wrecked. Number 6, Yan Lang and Wen Chao. I think this is the only mandatory 2v1 fight, and it's easier than you might initially expect, but it's still a 2v1, which means your bullshit may vary. Despite being different archetypes, both bosses here have pretty slow attacks, with a decent grace period of being able to heal if you get clipped. If you choose to dismiss summons, good luck, cause you could use the distraction, but it's not as simple as focusing one down and then making it a 1v1, because they're on that Throne Watcher and Defender BS from Dark Souls 2 and heal each other back to half whenever the other one dies, so you have to toast them around the same time. I hadn't died at this point in the middle of the mission, so I was able to build up a decent morale, and I think that definitely helped. If you're having trouble dealing with a 2v1, where it's not just about learning patterns because you're getting double teamed at random times, getting as familiar as possible with how it works and then going out and grinding morale is a good way to get over the hump. And just since I haven't mentioned it yet, get that fortitude up by finding all the flags in a mission. Even one extra fortitude can make retries on bosses a lot more successful. Number 5, 2v1 duels. Sun Se and Sun Jian and Xiahou Dun and Xiahou Huan are 2 dual encounters that will have you doing a whole lot of running backwards and poking, cause what the hell else are you supposed to do? I was overleveled for the Sun one, but it was still annoying. One of them is always running at you while the other spams ranged attacks that can interrupt your pokes. The Sun one is also definitely easier because it doesn't become a 2v1 till halfway through, and I got some good timing on my crits to bring the first one within inches of defeat before the other could really jump in there. But running and poking is the general strat, same as it was when Nioh was tossing these unfair fights at you too, and then whenever an unblockable comes out, deflect it, and make sure your counterattack hits the person who attacked you, even if you have to switch targets so you can get that sweet negative spirit buildup. And then if you do get a stagger, but their buddy is camping them and you can't get your crit in, deflect one of their attacks first and then go for it. It might seem not worth it to risk shit for poise breaks in these 2v1 scrambles, but lowering enemy morale noticeably reduces the damage they deal to you, so their stray hits won't hurt so bad. Number 4, Dang Zhuo. God, this boss is everything I hate in a game like this. Indistinct combos with different timings, delayed swings that have no business being that delayed. This guy just slows the pace of battle to a crawl. He even uses the same moves, but with different speeds. Like, if his kick comes out by itself, it's slower, but if it's during a combo, it looks exactly the same, but with less delay. It's really difficult to get a grasp on when a given move is actually going to hit you because he just teases you with it. He's like a piece of shit, straight up. Just because I interrupted your orgy doesn't mean you have to troll me like this. Even his unblockables can vary. The same grab attack has 2 different timing variations, whether it's by itself or in a combo, and trying to make your brain register the fact that the same move shouldn't be handled the same way every time is a challenge, to say the least. Probably my least favorite boss in this game. Number 3, Blindfolded Boy. The final boss of the game, losing to someone who can't see you does not feel very good, let me tell you. I think this fight is more learnable than the last one, but he also has more kill power and more variety, so it'll take longer to get there and you get punished harder for trial and error. His unblockables sure take their sweet-ass time coming out. One of them is a giant blood ball, and the delay between when it's finished forming and when it actually launches at you gets me almost every time. Another somehow easier one is when he glows up his spirit attack, but then feints you twice with clones before coming over and unleashing it. It's meant to make you panic, but when you sit down and really see what's happening, it's an easy sequence to thwart. But yeah, fights like this are always helped by early poise breaks and morale lowering. Just stay up in his face, keep that guard button held down, learn the deflects, and only back away if you need heals. Number 2, Zhang Lao 2nd. The game was like, you know that seemingly invincible electrical powerhouse transformation Zhang Lao had in his first fight? What if we made him never lose that the entire time? The result is a battle I did manage to beat on my first try, but it took all 10 uses of my dragon pot, and I was high as a kite by the end. I got lucky to scrape that one out early because I know that could have been a real ordeal. The dude doesn't stagger and he lights your ass up constantly. You'll be spamming deflect just to get a hit in edgewise, and lowering his morale is a requirement. But even Zhang Lao's Zeus complex didn't give me as much trouble as... Number 1, Lu Bu. The hardest boss in Wolong Fallen Dynasty is Lu Bu, especially if you're trying to do it with a giant club like my dumbass. No weapon deserves to have a basic light attack that slow. I don't care if I'm swinging a skyscraper around, let's shave a few frames off that startup, huh? Lu Bu on a horse is cake. We love it when he's on the horse. Stay on the horse forever, become the horse like you do in your second fight, because those attacks are easy. The unblockable is free once you learn it, and it's a good time. Then you knock him off his horse and things get ugly. The horse, by the way, stays on the battlefield and just runs around aimlessly waiting for someone to re-enslave it. It can run into you and hit you, but I think that happened maybe once in all my attempts. But Lu Bu is much better at fighting on the ground, with Dang Zhuo style combo variances that are just hard to keep track of. Luckily he gets back on the horse after a while so you can go back to easy mode, but then he gets knocked off again. Someone really needs to chain him to his fucking steed. It would make my life better, and I'm sure he would also enjoy not being flung like a ragdoll, because that's embarrassing. I don't feel like I was good at this game for very long before I finished it. I definitely wasn't great at this boss, so I do kind of want to go back and play another file with a different build and see if I can breeze through more of the battles. Now it's time for the honorable mention, which is this game's Gank Squad. I don't know who at Team Ninja hates gamers, because nobody loves doing a 3v1. They aren't technically bosses because they don't have upper health bars, but it's a situation I know a lot of people infamously despise, and I put it in here because I spent 20 minutes trying to cheese them with my Divine Beast until I could mop up what was left. Still just a lot of running and poking while getting peppered with arrows and bombs, and a fat ass who keeps running me over with his dumb charge attack. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this boss ranking. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out my other ones for other Souls-like games and Kingdom Hearts and other random stuff. Like, share, and subscribe. Watch all my other videos and then watch them again to see if you got any better at it, and I'll see you guys next time.